A while ago, I started noticing something frustrating in my own life. No matter how hard I worked, I still felt financially anxious most of the time. I was always thinking about what could go wrong, what I couldn't afford, or why it felt like I was constantly trying to catch up. And the more I paid attention to my thoughts around money, the more I realized something important. Most people think making more money starts with working harder. But honestly, I've learned that it often starts with thinking differently. Your brain is constantly responding to the story you repeat to yourself every day. And for a long time, my internal story sounded like, I'm behind. There's never enough. I'll probably always struggle financially. And without realizing it, my decisions, habits, and even the opportunities I noticed started reflecting that mindset. What really changed things for me was becoming intentional about the way I viewed money in my future. A lot of people want financial freedom, but very few people ever slow down long enough to clearly define what that actually looks like for them. And that's the first shift. Clarity. Because your brain cannot move toward a target it cannot see. I used to say things like, I just want more money. I want freedom. I want to stop stressing. But eventually I had to ask myself, what does that actually mean? How much is more? What kind of life am I actually trying to build? What would financial peace genuinely look like for me? And once I became specific, something started changing mentally. My brain began paying attention differently. Instead of just surviving month to month, I started noticing opportunities, ideas, and habits that aligned with the future I wanted. One thing that completely changed how I viewed money was realizing that the brain responds strongly to repetition and emotion. The thoughts you repeat daily slowly become familiar, and what becomes familiar starts feeling believable. That's why people who constantly repeat negative financial beliefs often stay trapped in the same cycles for years. I know that because I lived in that cycle myself. But the opposite is also true. When you intentionally start feeding your mind a new vision for your life, your behavior slowly begins to change. Not overnight, not magically, but gradually. One practical thing you can do is create a clear financial goal. Not just, I want to be rich, but something measurable. Maybe it's, I want to earn enough to stop stressing about bills. Or, I want to build an extra income stream. Or, I want to save enough to finally feel secure. Then spend a few minutes every day mentally connecting to that version of your future. Not just the money itself, but the feeling, the peace, the freedom, the ability to help your family, the confidence, the breathing room. Because most people don't actually want money. They want what they believe money will allow them to feel: security, choice, relief, freedom. And once you understand that, you stop chasing money emotionally and start building your life intentionally. Another thing that helped me was changing the questions I asked myself. Instead of, why am I always struggling? I started asking, what skills can I build? How can I improve my financial habits? What can I learn today that my future self will thank me for? Your brain responds to the questions you repeatedly ask it. If your focus is always fear, limitation, and survival, your thinking becomes smaller. But when you start focusing on growth, possibility, and long-term thinking, your mind starts opening up to solutions you previously ignored. And no, this is not about pretending problems don't exist. It's about refusing to let fear become your permanent financial identity. Because wealth building is not only external, it's psychological. The way you think influences the way you spend, the way you save, the risks you take, the opportunities you notice, and the standards you set for your future. And I can honestly say that consciously changing my psychological relationship with money has already started changing my life in ways I didn't expect. I feel calmer around money, more intentional, more hopeful, more focused on building instead of surviving. And I'm still learning. But if there's one thing I've realized, it's this. Sometimes the biggest thing standing between people and financial freedom is the belief that it's not possible for them in the first place. And that belief, my friend, can absolutely be changed. So if you would like to train your brain to make you money, subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss our next video. I will be revealing 5 AI tools I used as a beginner to start making a passive income.